Minister Blade Nzimande's campaign in the Johannesburg CBD. For more on this, we cross to our reporter Hasina Gori, who's in Braamfontein in Johannesburg. Good afternoon, Hasina. Take us through what you're seeing at the moment.
Good afternoon, Nzinga. Yes, as you said, it's a buzz here at the Wanderers station here in the Johannesburg CBD, where taxis from here crisscross across the country, but also across the borders to ensure that everyone gets home in time for the festivities. With me is Minister Blade Nzimande, who had a walkabout not just here at the stadium, at the station, but also at Park Station, which where the buses as well as the trains depart from. Good afternoon, Minister. Thank you for joining us. Can you tell us, you just had a walk through Park Station as well as the Wanderers station. What has been the response that you've seen from passengers, from the operators, and are we ready for the festive season?
I must say that I'm actually very pleased about the reaction of the passengers and especially the drivers. By the way, also to remind our viewers, this is the largest transport hub in the whole of Southern Africa. And it's got your trains, your metro rail, your Gauteng, your bus rapid transport system, and your minibus taxis. And in the main, your minibus taxis doing long distance, going to the rest of the country and to the regions, Zimbabwe, Malawi, and so on. So the reaction has been very positive. You can see that despite some of the challenges we have, the message is getting across about the necessity for safety. The passengers are very pleased that we are actually paying attention to this, and the drivers as well, to say sometimes it's better to arrive late. If you're tired on the way, have a rest, than never to arrive at all where you are actually going to. So we have come here today to then encourage both the drivers and the passengers, but also to remind the passengers, firstly, they must wear seat belts. Because some people think if we are in a minibus taxi, you don't have to wear seat belts. But also to remind them that they must always also not distract the driver, but also at the same time, if they see something wrong that the driver is doing, they should be able to say, driver, no, you're speeding, or you can't be on the cell phone when you are driving, so that everybody will take collective responsibility to be safe, because our statistics still tell us that most of the road crashes and road fatalities are as a result of human error or human recklessness. Much as we are also saying to our law enforcement officers, be tough. On people who are speeding and drunk and driving, be tough on them. But at the same time, we have to make sure that we educate our people, which is part of what we are doing, by reaching out and saying, it's our collective responsibility to ensure that our roads are safe.
20 years on, and every year we see this during the festive time, all these different safety activations. Are they working?
Well, firstly, what I would like to say is that what we are doing now, we think that it is working, but it's not yet reached the level that we want. For instance, the fact that we are now increasing visibility on the roads of traffic law enforcement officers, it does help. Our research tells us that. The fact that we reach out with our education programs and messages, there are many people who actually listen to that. And we mustn't stop it and say, because we still have road crashes and fatalities, therefore we must stop. But of course we are doing more. As we are saying, we are going to be tightening the laws, so that repeat offenders, for instance, will take their driver's licenses. And also we're going to be tougher on speeding and drunken driving, hoping that that will then help to contribute towards reaching our goal of really eliminating, hopefully, road crashes and fatalities. We're also increasing the recruitment of traffic officials. This year, for instance, we are taking 300 by the Road Traffic Management Corporation. I'm sure provinces are also taking some. Next year, just the Road Traffic Management Corporation is going to be taking more than double. 700 new traffic officials who are going to go to the colleges and be able to train. So that what we also now want to do differently is 24-hour visibility by law enforcement officers. Most of our road crashes and fatalities, they happen at night when there are no people, law enforcement officers on the road. We want to have a 24-hour service. We're in engagement with the trade unions and all other stakeholders in order to ensure that we do all that we can in order to minimize this problem of road crashes.
As we start the first long weekend in this festive season and kick off the holiday spirit, what's your message to motorists that are going to be taking to the road, as well as passengers that are going to be getting into the many public transports that we have in South Africa?
We want to say to drivers, to begin with, be always aware that you are carrying living human beings in your vehicle. Also, before you leave, ensure that they've got their seatbelts on, and at all times you remind them even after we've had a break. But also I want to say to them, don't do things that you know are wrong, like using your cell phone and texting whilst driving, or taking alcohol or going into a vehicle with having taken any form of drugs that may actually interfere with your own driving. That's what we want to say. And also motorists must respect our law enforcement officers. They must not run over them, they must not run away from them, because the work they do is to ensure that we actually have safety on our roads. That's what we want to say to our motorists. And of course to our passengers, we want to say to them, take collective responsibility. If you are in a minibus taxi, as I have said, wrong things are happening, raise your hand and say wrong things can actually not happen. And we must look after each other. We are concerned in some of the long distance vehicles, there's abuse of women. If because we are traveling as groups, we are taking collective responsibility for each other, we can defeat that so that we are not. And also want to send a message to young people, because they are the ones who like to be on Facebook and WhatsApp, even if they are driving, that put your cell phone on the cubbyhole and not use it at all when you are actually driving, so that what is important is to arrive safe and arrive alive wherever we are going, particularly at this time when there is huge increase in traffic volumes on our roads.
Thank you so much, Minister. That was Minister Blade Nzimande speaking to us here at the Wanderers station, where he met with both operators and passengers as they get ready to leave on their holiday here to the various cities. As always, the message is arrive alive and be safe while you're out on the road. For now, back to you in studio.
Thanks, Hasina Gori, giving us an update. We are focusing on the roads today on SABC News, and as South Africans prepare